All right, so Cardinals versus Braves. Scott Blewett is on the mound for the Braves, as Pallante has taken the mound for the bottom of the first. Blewett gave up just a single to Contreras and was able to get the other three Cardinals in the first. And now it's Pallante ahead 0-1 on Alex Verdugo. The Braves starting a similar lineup to yesterday, but Arcia starting at shortstop. As Pallante puts another one in there, it's 0-2. So it's Orlando Arcia at short for the Braves, batting ninth. It'll be Verdugo, Riley, and Ozuna for them in this inning. Verdugo hitting .294. Here's the 0-2 pitch to him. From Pallante, ground ball to the right-hand side. Easy play for Contreras, and there's one out. Cardinals have Nootbaar in left, Walker in right, Victor Scott in center, so that's the normal outfield. Burleson at DH. It'll be Contreras, Gorman, Wynn, and Arenado in the infield. So Mason Wynn making his return to shortstop, so you can expect the defense to improve a little bit there. Brendan Donovan getting the day off, and it'll be Pedro Pajes behind the plate. Here's the first pitch to Austin Riley, the Braves' third baseman. Up and in, ball one. Riley hitting .278 with an .838 OPS on the year. Here's the 1-0. Fouled back, 1-1. The Braves have Kelenic in right, Harris in center, Verdugo in left. It'll be Riley at third, Albies at second, Arcia at short, Olsen at first, and Murphy behind the plate with Ozuna at DH. The 1-1 pitch to Riley. Hard hit ball to the left-hand side, and it's caught in left by Nootbaar. A solid running catch by Newt there. And there's two away in the first. That will bring up Marcell Ozuna, one of the best hitters in the league so far, hitting .323 with a 1.029 OPS, with 2 outs and nobody on. Pallante's been one of the better starters for the Cardinals this season, so you expect him to go a little while and potentially end this losing streak. Cardinals have lost 5 in a row, so the streak started with a Pallante game back in New York against the Mets. We'll see if the Cardinals can finally get an NL East win. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's a strike. Nice slider. Lower outside corner. 1-1 on Ozuna. Here's the 1-1. Low and in again with a sinker. That time he fouled it off, and it's 1-2. In the first inning, Wilson Contreras was able to get a single, so he really does seem to be back. His average is all the way up at 191, which is not that far away from Jordan Walker and Lars Nootbaar. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Ozuna. In the dirt with the curveball, 2-2. Spiked that curveball a little bit. It bounced well in front of the plate. Ozuna is ready. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Pallante. Put a slider in the dirt that time, and now it's 3-2. Both the Cardinals and the Braves looking for their 10th win of the season. Cardinals have been looking for that since before they had 10 losses, as Pallante misses low with the slider, and that's ball 4 on Ozuna. So that'll bring up Matt Olson with 1 on and 2 outs here in the first. First pitch from Pallante. Ground ball, easy play at first for Contreras. And that'll do it for the first inning. A nice 4-batter inning for Pallante, just the 1 walk surrendered. And we go to the top of the second, 0-0. So now it'll be Burleson, Walker, and Pajes facing Blewett. So let's take a look at Scott Blewett and what he's been doing in the past. So this season, he's a little bit above average across the board with all of his pitches. Very good expected ERA at 1.56. Expected batting average very low at 182, 91st percentile there. Great at not walking anybody. Good whiff percentage. It says he has a 0 barrel percentage. So that should be even better than 91st percentile. But let's see what he did in previous seasons. So in 2024, he was not qualified. Did have 42nd percentile fastball velo. In 21, he was still not qualified. And he was never qualified before this year. So we'll see if he can last a full season and stay qualified. He was drafted by the Royals back in 2014. He's 29 years old, finally earning a long-term starting role. This is his first start, it looks like, of his career. So we'll see how far he can go against the Cardinals. See the pitch mix here. Just sliders 44% of the time and 4-seamers 34% of the time. With some split fingers 20% of the time, so that's just a 3-pitch mix. Maybe he found success by going to the slider a lot. And the splitter entered his arsenal in 2024, so that's interesting. All right, I bet the game is back by now. Let's get it back on. All right, it's 0-1 on Alec Burleson. Second pitch of the inning. Hit the other way, squibbed over to the third baseman Riley, and there's 1 out in the second. So Blewett doing pretty well so far. Just the 1 hit allowed to Contreras. That was a single up the middle. That'll bring up Jordan Walker. Walker hitting just .215 on the year with a .575 OPS. Does have 2 home runs. First pitch to him. Outside, fouled away, 0-1. Blewett is ready. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball easily reachable for Walker, but he got under it. Drove it out to center field, and Harris makes the catch. So there's 2 outs now in the second. Still nobody on, and it'll be Pedro Pajes hitting for the Cardinals. The great news for the Cardinals is that they'll have the Victor Scott, Mason Wynn, Lars Nootbaar trio back in a row in the lineup. So Victor Scott can start stealing bases in front of Mason Wynn's singles again. That's a good run-producing combo. First pitch to Pajes. 4-seam low and away in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Whether you like it or not, when Mason Wynn was in the lineup, the Cardinals were winning games at a much higher clip. So hopefully that can make the difference for the team going forward. (0-2) on Pajes. He swung through a fastball there. Steps back in. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Blewett. Drops a splitter in the dirt that time, 1-2. He only has that splitter, slider, and fastball. I guess he does have a changeup as well. At least as far as the pitch detection says. Let's see, the 1-2 pitch. Another slider that time. Low and away, 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Pedro Pajes. Slider, he reaches out and rolls over it, over to shortstop. Easy play for Arcia, and the Braves are through 2. Midway through the second, it's still 0-0. So Blewett doing well so far in his first start. It will be Ozzie Albies, Michael Harris II, and Sean Murphy for the Braves. Let's look at what Pallante has done. Just a reminder, every 5th day. So Pallante well above average this year. 3.22 ERA, 1.07 whip. Good fastball. Doesn't get barreled a whole lot. Doesn't walk a whole lot of hitters. Also doesn't strike out a whole lot, but has a great ground ball percentage, 96th percentile at 67.2. It's been 4-seamers, sliders for the most part, and then a couple sinkers and knuckle curves. There was a sporkle that I was unable to finish yesterday, so we can go back and see if I could do that. But we'll start that next inning. Can look at last year's stats real quick for the Braves. Arcia had 0.5 WAR. Harris had 3.2. OPS at 98, so most of that on the defensive side. Murphy 1.3, 76 OPS plus. Let's get back to the game. Pallante back out on the mound. Ozzie Albies will be up at the plate. He has a 721 OPS with 4 home runs and a 235 average on the year. First pitch from Andre Pallante. Up and away for a strike, 0-1. So that was a very well placed fastball. Albies is a switch hitting second baseman, batting from the left-hand side as he drives one the other way for a base hit. That is right where third base would have been playing. But obviously, you shift the fielders over a little bit, and that allows Albies to hit it where they aren't for a base hit. So 1 on with nobody out for Sean Murphy. Murphy's been pretty good so far this year. A 205 average for a 916 OPS. Oh, sorry, that brings up Michael Harris. That hit was by Albies. My bad. Harris hitting 220 with a 604 OPS, so a lot less home run power, although he does have 3 homers on the year. Here's the 1-0 pitch. In the dirt with the 4-seam. 2-0. Harris is ready. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Pallante. Instead, there's a timeout. Umpire called time there. Must have been the hitter. So still 2-0 on Michael Harris. With nobody on. Sorry, 1 out. Sorry. No outs, 1 on. That's what I'm trying to say. Here's the 2-0 pitch to Harris. Swing and a miss with a fastball in the dirt there, 2-1. So you wonder why he chased that one. Pallante checks on Albies at first. Nothing doing. 2-1. Here's Pallante's 19th pitch of the game. Chopped into the air. It was a hit and run as Pallante applies the tag to Harris. So there's one out, and that advances the runner to second. So a hit and run results in a chopper. Almost results like a sac bunt. If he was unable to apply that tag, though, could have been much worse for the Cardinals. It would have been a very tough play to first. So great play by Pallante to get over there. And there's one out and a runner on second here in the second. First pitch to Sean Murphy. Slider missed just low, 1-0. Murphy does have 5 home runs in just 11 games on the year. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Sean Murphy. Fastball inside, ground ball. Arenado able to make the play, and there's 2 outs. Albies had to stay put at second, and that will bring up Jared Kelenic. Kelenic was a touted prospect for the Mariners. Was able to hit his first home run there very early on, but struggled to develop, and now he ended up on the Braves. Hitting 167 this year. Here's the first pitch. Swing and a miss over a fastball, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch from Pallante. A low fastball, 0-2. Swung over both of these pitches so far. We'll see if Pallante has something else to pull the string. The 0-2 pitch. Bounced it in the dirt there with the slider, 1-2. Kelenic is ready. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Pallante. Inside fastball, fouled back, still 1-2. So Pallante is going to throw his 26th pitch here to Kelenic, over a quarter of the way done through his start in just the second inning. The 1-2. Way outside in the dirt. That'll get past Pajes and allow Albies to take third. So now a wild pitch would score the run. It is 2-2 now on Kelenic. That one actually slipped through his arm slot, like right under his shoulder. Just unable to corral it. So there's 2 outs, 2-2 count, runner on third. The pitch to Kelenic. Way inside with the fastball, 3-2. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Jared Kelenic. The pitch, right down the middle, ground ball, easy play at second base, and Gorman makes it. So we're through 2, and it's scoreless in Atlanta. Pallante threw 28 pitches to get through 2 innings. And now we're back to Scott Blewett. It'll be Victor Scott, Mason Wynn, and Lars Nootbaar. So in Mason Wynn's return game, let's see what he's been up to this season before the injury. Great fielding as always. Not great hitting, but only -2. With a very low chase rate. Does whiff a good amount, but has barreled up the ball pretty well when he's made contact. Let's see last season. So last season he barreled up the ball even less, but had a very good expected batting average at 256. Didn't strike out or whiff very much. And it looks like he just put the ball where the defense wasn't. They still gave him a -1 batting run value, but did have a lot of singles last year. So that's why having a guy like Scott in front of him will help out a lot, because he can steal second and then come around to score with all that speed on a play like a base hit. So that's what we're looking for out of Scott and Wynn. Hopefully one of them can get on base here and turn it over to Nootbaar. Victor Scott stepping up to the plate. The 25th pitch of the game, first one of the third inning. Up and in, and it's 1-0. So Blewett misses with his 25th pitch. Victor Scott ahead in the count, 1-0. Scott coming into the game with a 700 OPS. The 1-0 pitch hit hard to center field for another base hit. So Victor Scott continues to perform in Atlanta, in his hometown. So that's excellent to see. Did have 3 hits in the game yesterday and already 1 today against Blewett. So Scott is on first base. We'll see if the Cardinals decide to use his speed against the right-hander who has never started a game, Scott Blewett. Here's the first pitch to Mason Wynn. Right down the middle for a strike. Victor Scott did not try to steal. He is still on first. It's 0-1 on Wynn. This is Wynn's first at-bat after missing about 15, well, not quite, missing a good number of games with an injury. So Blewett's going to check on Scott at first. I was going to say 15 games because of the 15-day IL, but that's not quite how that works. They don't play every day. Here is the 0-1 from Blewett to Wynn. Hanger, crushed, but caught at third base by Austin Riley, and there's 1 out in the third. So Mason Wynn got a hold of 1 on the slider, but hit it right at Austin Riley. So no trouble barreling that one up with a high exit velo, but, well, I guess a barrel probably has a higher launch angle than that, but squared that one up for sure. Here's the first pitch to Lars Nootbaar. Instead, he checks on Scott. Nothing doing. Nootbaar had a ground out in the first. He's 0 for 1. It is the third. With 1 on and 1 out. First pitch to Nootbaar. Smoked high in the air to right field, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Lars Nootbaar. So Mason Wynn returns, and so does Nootbaar's home run power. Cardinals lead 2-0. That one was 100 miles an hour off the bat, 25-degree launch angle, and he did not miss it. Everybody knew that was gone the second he made contact. Went down and got a hanging slider at the bottom of the zone, and deposited it right below the chop house. So with a 2-0 lead now, here's the first pitch to Contreras. Fastball hit hard the other way and fair. So a base hit for Contreras, and it gets past the right fielder. Kelenic gives up a free base, and Contreras is standing on second. So back-to-back great plays for the Cardinals, the Nootbaar homer, and now extra bases for Contreras. Kellenick struggled to pick up that one, as he just turned it the other way down the line, waited for the pitch to travel. Kind of cue-shotted it to the right field side. And now he stands on second base for Nolan Gorman. So Contreras on second, 1 out. Here's the first pitch to Gorman. Fastball. Nope, that was a splitter. Me and Gorman had the same thought as Gorman fouled that off. It is 0-1. Gorman is 0 for 1 in the game with 1 strikeout. That was back in the first. They're playing him to pull. Big hole on the left side of the field. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Way outside with the splitter. 1-1. All right, Blewett is ready. Here's the 1-1 to Gorman. Inside, 2-1. Gorman is 3 for 12 this season with runners in scoring position. No home runs yet in that situation, but does have an extra base hit and 3 RBIs. The 2-1 pitch to Gorman. Slider outside, grounded to first base. Easy play from Matt Olson. And there's 2 outs now in the third, with Contreras on third base. So Gorman falls to 0 for 2 on the day, and that'll bring up Nolan Arenado. First pitch to Arenado is low in the dirt, but gets away a little bit. Nothing doing, as the runner is on third base, and Contreras doesn't have the speed to try and take the plate. So Arenado now has a 1-0 count advantage over Scott Blewett. It's not a great name for a pitcher, if we're being honest. Here is the 1-0 pitch to Arenado. Low and away, 2-0. Not quite as bad as Grant Balfour, but Blewett is also not a fun name to have as a pitcher. The 2-0 to Arenado. Fouled off of Contreras, who was standing in foul territory. 2-1. So smart play by Contreras to make sure he was standing in foul territory. Not let the ball travel any further. He actually had to put his feet together in order to make sure he wasn't on the foul line, which is why he was not out there. So here's the 2-1 to Arenado. Low and away, missed by about a foot. 3-1. That one was not close. Contreras, big lead down the line in foul territory, demonstrating everything a Little League coach teaches at third base. The 3-1 to Arenado. Slider below the zone, and it's a walk. So Arenado will reach, and runners at the corners for Alec Burleson with 2 outs now in the third. Burleson has been very good against the Braves in his career, as Scott Blewett will be talking to the pitching coach, it looks like. Murphy's out there to talk to him as well. Burleson hitting .235 on the year with a .576 OPS. And Blewett will stay in the game to try to face him with 2 outs and runners at the corners. Burleson's a bat the Cardinals have really wanted in their lineup every game. Still looking for his first home run of the year, and he's looking to get going because you keep putting that bat in your lineup, eventually it'll heat up and become a very good addition. Here's the first pitch to Burleson. Ground ball off his foot. Foul ball, 0-1. Here is the 0-1 pitch to Burleson. Ground ball, right-hand side. Nice play by Olson to come up on that one, make sure it was still a fair ball, and he gets the out at first. So the Cardinals strand 2, but they do score 2 on the Nootbaar home run. So the Cardinals lead 2-0 midway through the third. That was a big moment for Nootbaar on the year. It'll be Orlando Arcia for the Braves to start next inning. So let's grab some of his numbers. He is not qualified this year, but is -2 in the batting run value. Last year, he was qualified and was 4th percentile, so one of the worst hitters in the league. 509 OPS this season, a 625 OPS last season. Just a 218 batting average last year. 17 home runs is not too bad, but a 271 on base, 354 slug. Not quite what you're looking for. Was a solid fielder at shortstop. We'll see if he can improve this year. I'm going to start up this Sporkle quiz. I'm going to start with baseball this time, because I know those divisions the best. Here we go. Rockies, Dodgers, Giants. D-backs. And Padres. Then we will go to the Cardinals, Cubs, Reds, Pirates, Brewers, and then we'll go to the Mets, the Phillies, the Marlins, Nationals, and the Braves. So we got the NL. Let's see if the game's back. It is. It's 0-1 on Arcia, and now it's 0-2. A great pitch from Pallante. And a rocket on a slider is caught by Contreras. So a great play by Wilson Contreras at first to make that catch and prevent a single from Arcia. So there's 1 out and nobody on for Alex Verdugo. Here's the first pitch to Verdugo. Slider. In there for a strike. 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball inside. 1-1. Broadcast glitched. All right. One out, nobody on. The 1-1 pitch to Verdugo. Ground ball. Easy play for Gorman at second. He'll flip it to Contreras, and there's 2 outs now in the third. That'll bring up Austin Riley with nobody on. Just 1 hit in the game for the Braves. First pitch to Riley. Right down the middle with the 4-seam. 0-1. Second pitch in the dirt. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Fouled off. It was a little inside. 1-2. The 1-2 is in the dirt. 2-2. Ground ball. Chopped for an infield hit to Arenado. He'll make the throw. But it was way late. Actually got by Contreras, and now he's going to move Riley to second base. So I don't know why Arenado threw that ball. That'll be an error, and it'll get Riley into scoring position with 2 outs for Marcell Ozuna. So costly mistake, potentially, by Arenado with a 2-run lead in the third. That was a chopper where you never have a chance to make that play, especially as deep as Arenado was playing. Just an unwise decision there. So Riley on second. Ozuna is 0 for 1 in the game. Sorry, Ozuna had a walk. Ozuna is 0 for 0 with a walk back in the first. Here's the 0-1. Low and in, 1-1 on Ozuna. Here is the 1-1 pitch to Ozuna. In there for a strike with the sinker low and in. 1-2 now on Ozuna. Pallante is ready. Here's the 1-2. In the dirt. Pajas able to block it. 2-2 now. Ozuna is 4 for 17 with runners in scoring position this season. So a little bit below his standard, I believe. But does have a home run in these situations. And his season average is .323, so nothing to mess with here. Here is the 2-2 pitch to Ozuna. Low and away with the slider, 3-2. The 3-2 pitch to Ozuna. Slider low and away for ball 4. And there are 2 on now with 2 outs for Matt Olson. So Pallante playing a little bit of a dangerous game here, but didn't mess with the best hitter on the Braves. Will instead mess with another guy who could do a lot of damage in Matt Olson. A very deep lineup that's going to get even deeper in about a week when Acuna joins back. That'll be 2 weeks from now, I guess. First pitch to Olson. In the dirt, 1-0. Pajes is going to go talk to Pallante. Here is the 1-0 pitch from Pallante to Olson. 4-seam below the zone, 1-1. So Olson swung over that one. Pallante found the zone once again. Pallante's ready. Misses way low and in, 2-1 on Olson. Olson hitting a career .292 with 5 home runs and 14 RBIs in 24 games against the Cardinals. So that's a little scary. Home run every 5 games. Here's the 2-1 pitch. In the dirt, 3-1 on Olson. If Olson is able to reach, it would be Ozzie Albies hitting for the Braves. So we're playing a dangerous game either way, but it is 3-1 on Olson, so this might be more dangerous. Might just want to put him on. Here is the 3-1. Inside, ball 4. And that will bring up Ozzie Albies. So Pallante really struggling up there. He's thrown 28 strikes out of 50 pitches, which is a 56% strike rate, which should be good enough to get an out if you can keep putting them in there. But foul balls and inconsistent at-bats are dangerous. And now the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Albies. Albies is 1 for 1 today. But that was a hit the other way that is unexpected to be repeated. So if you attack him, you could probably get the out. Chipper Jones at this one, with his wife and kids, it looks like. Obviously, he's a legend for the Braves. Played in the corner infield. Here's the first pitch to Albies. Swing and a miss on a 4-seam low and in, 0-1. Albies is ready, so is Pallante. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Bases loaded and 2 outs. That slider's in the dirt, 1-1. So far this season, Albies is 1 for 10 with the bases loaded. Well, not with the bases loaded. With runners in scoring position and 2 outs, with 1 RBI. Hitting almost to clear a career 300 in situations with the bases loaded. The 1-1. Popped foul, 1-2. So Pallante has a 1-2 count now. Just got to find the zone here. The 1-2 pitch to Albies. Above the zone, he gets the swing and the miss. And he strands, the bases loaded with no damage. It's 2-0 Cardinals after 3. So that will bring up Jordan Walker, Pedro Pajes, and Victor Scott in the Cardinals order. With a 2-0 lead, you wonder if Scott Blewett will still be out there. Probably will. Let's get back to this quiz for a couple minutes. So I was on the AL. So let's go to the Central. Tigers, Royals, White Sox, Guardians. Let's knock out the West. Mariners, Astros, A's, Rangers. Twins. Let's knock out the Twins. Okay, and then the East, Red Sox, Rays. Who is that? I mean, obviously the Yankees. All right, let's go to the NFL. Cowboys, Commanders, Giants, Eagles, Cardinals, Rams, 49ers. Jeez, what's up with my memory? Okay. Let's get back to the game. Is it back? Not quite. All right, let's get back in then. The AL East. I could go back and finish that, I imagine. Blue Jays. That's going to be what that one at the bottom is. And then Orioles. And then we can go over here. Okay. I could just look at some of the cities. That would probably help. And then the AL Central. Guardians, Royals, Tigers, White Sox. And Twins. I think I already got all of them. Okay, so is it another AL East? Yankees, Red Sox. Or is it AL West? Okay, let's see. Red Sox, Orioles, Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays. Okay, so it's going to be the West. We'll come back. The game is definitely back. It's 2-2 on Walker. So I will come back to that. So Blewett is still in the game. He has a 2-2 count on Jordan Walker, who's 0 for 1 with a fly out back in the second. The 2-2 pitch is low and away, 3-2. Pedro Pajes waits on deck. Here's the 3-2 to Walker. Hanging slider fouled off of the catcher. Still 3-2. The 3-2 pitch is low, ball 4. So Jordan Walker lives up to his name and draws the walk, and that'll be 1 on with nobody out for Pedro Pajes. And Snitger has seen enough. It looks like he's out there to talk with Blewett, and his day is done. So here comes a Braves long reliever. Let's take a look at what that could be. Let's get past the quiz here and go to the Braves bullpen. So Long reliever is listed as Blewett himself, so that's questionable. Could be Grant Holmes, maybe, if he's available. They only have a 4-man rotation. Okay. So it could be anybody. I'm going to say that this is going to be Michael Peterson, because I have no idea. Didn't really get a look at the guy. So can't really predict that. I'll just go back to the quiz for a minute. I'm going to use some of these cities. Oh, I didn't get the Angels. That's what it is. There we go. All right, we got baseball done. Let's go to the Patriots, the Jets, the Bills. Let's see. Chicago's the Bears, Vikings, Packers, Lions. We got the Bengals. Cleveland is the Browns. All right. Denver would be the Broncos. Chiefs. Who's in the Chiefs division? The Chargers. Let's see. Okay. Steelers. Going by division is so good. I can't believe I stopped doing that. What am I doing? We got the Texans, Titans, we got the Raiders. All right, I'm sure the game is back. And it is Bummer. They went with Aaron Bummer, the lefty, to face Pedro Pajes. It's a little bit of a strange decision, given that it is Pajes, Scott, and Wynn. So that's 2 right-handed hitters against the lefty Aaron Bummer. So probably expecting him to go multiple innings. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Pajes. Slider outside, gives him the strike on what was likely a ball. And it's 2-2 on Pajes. Pajes hitting .250 this season with a .669 OPS and 1 home run. That home run came in the 3rd game of the season, his first game of the season, against the Twins. Here is the 2-2 pitch to Pajes. Slider right down the middle. It's chopped down the third base line and foul. So still 2-2 with Walker on first. Pajes is ready. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Nope. Bummer checks on Walker, and that's a disengagement. So it's still 2-2. Bummer gets set. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Pajes. Squared up, deep to center field, but Harris is back to the track to make the catch. And there's 1 out with Walker on first for Victor Scott. So Aaron Bummer will get the lefty-lefty matchup against Scott here. But Scott has been excellent today and yesterday. Already has 4 hits in the 2 games combined. We'll see if he can keep it going. Lefty lefty here. It is his hometown in Atlanta, and he's showing out. First pitch does go around on a check swing, 0-1. That was a sweeper, way outside, but he went. Second pitch from Bummer. Another sweeper, that one outside, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Scott. Sweeper right down the middle for a strike. 2-1. Sorry, 1-2 on Victor Scott. So now he's seen that. He knows what it looks like when the sweeper is going to be in the zone. Let's see if he sees another. The 1-2 pitch from Bummer. Another sweeper. That one was outside, but he fouls it back. Still 1-2. Victor Scott is 7th best in the NL with 2-strike batting average. Here's the 1-2. Not 2-strike batting average. Batting average on pitches outside the zone. League average is 153. He's hitting 278 on pitches out of the zone. The 2-2 pitch to Scott. Low and away. Did he go around? It looks like he did. The ump says he did not. So 3-2 on Scott. Good job by Scott to hang up right there. I was not quite sure, but I thought he might have. Good news is the ump didn't agree. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Scott. Swing and a miss on a sweeper at the top of the zone, and Scott goes down swinging. So Jordan Walker still at first base, and we'll have a lefty-righty matchup. Bummer versus Wynn. Mason Wynn is 0-1 today, but it was a very hard-hit ball. This season, Wynn started 0-18 with 8 strikeouts and followed that with 10-27 with a home run. We'll see which Wynn we get today. The first pitch is high, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Mason Wynn. In there for a strike. That was a nice sinker. Outside part of the zone. 1-1. Wynn staring. He's ready. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Wynn. Slider below the zone. 2-1. Overall, Mason Wynn is hitting .217, but had a very good average, over 300 in his most recent 7 games. He fouled one off his foot there. It's 2-2. The 2-2 pitch, fouled away. Still 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Wynn. Low and in, it actually hits his foot. So Mason Wynn will reach, but if he was able to get out of the way, it would have been a wild pitch and scored the run. So, oh, sorry, no. Walker was on first. My mind was 2 innings away back when the Braves had a runner on third. That is not the situation that we are in right now. So the ball hit Mason Wynn, and now there's 2 on for Lars Nootbaar, who homered his last time up. But it is lefty-lefty. Aaron Bummer versus Lars Nootbaar. Mason Wynn on first, Jordan Walker on second. First pitch to Nootbaar. Sweeper right down the middle for a strike, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Inside with a sinker, 1-1. Here is the 1-1 pitch to Nootbaar. Ground ball. Easy play for Arcia. That was Albies, not Arcia. Either way, Nootbaar grounded out. And we're midway through 4. It's 2-0 Cardinals, headed to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Harris, Murphy, and Kellenick. What? I just copy that. We have enough transportation for that. All right. What I will do is go back to the quiz. All right, so Panthers. Jaguars. Colts. Dolphins. Seattle Seahawks. There we go. Okay, that's the NFL. Let's knock out as much of the NBA as I can here. So Suns. Atlanta would be the Hawks. Let's see. Chicago has the Bulls. Wow. Let's get the Red Wings out of the way. Pistons. Denver Nuggets. All right. Back to the game. Murphy just hit a home run for the Braves. Way over the bullpen. Actually fell down into it, and it's 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. So I had to make a quick call on that one, as I had just gotten back to the game. 99.5 miles an hour off the bat, 26-degree launch angle. That's a perfect launch angle for this ballpark, and it's a homer for Sean Murphy. So he's at 6 home runs on the year, 992 OPS with just a 220 average. So a lot of home runs for Murphy. Let's go back and see what happened to the previous hitter. It was Michael Harris. Came on the 0-1. He hit a ground ball to the first base side, and Contreras flipped it to Pallante. So 1 out, 1 home run for Sean Murphy. And now a double by Jared Kelenic. He smoked a ball to the base of the wall, and Victor Scott had to throw it in. Stand-up double for Kelenic. Runner on second with 1 out now in the 4th. The pitch to Orlando Arcia. In the dirt for ball 1. It's 1-0. So the Braves are striking back in this one. Here is the 1-0 pitch to Arcia. In the dirt, 2-0. Two-0 pitch is inside, and it's 3-0 on Arcia. Not a guy you really want to walk at the bottom of the lineup, as Verdugo is on deck at the top of the order. Here's the 3-0 pitch from Pallante. Fouled it off his foot, 3-1. Here's the pitch to Arcia. Ground ball, shortstop. Mason Wynn grabs the ball and gets the out at first. So 2 down. Kelenic moves to third with 2 outs in the 4th. That will bring up Alex Verdugo to face Andre Pallante. Very important guy to get out, because following him you have Riley Ozuna Olsen, and that's a group of guys you never really want to pitch to. First pitch to Verdugo is low, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch to Verdugo is in the dirt once again, 2-0. So Pallante struggling to find the zone. Trying to hold on to a 1-run lead with a runner on third. Verdugo is 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs in this one. See if Pallante can keep the ball on the ground here. The 2-0 pitch to Verdugo. In the zone, hit hard into the gap in right center, and that's going to be extra bases for Verdugo. And it'll tie the game at 2. Stand-up double for Verdugo. Scores Murphy from third. Not Murphy. Scores Kelenic from third, and it's 2-2 with 2 outs in the 4th. Jeez, I'm not doing well today. So Dusty Blake will come out to talk to Pallante again. And I'm going to grab a drink. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Austin Riley. In there for a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. So with Verdugo on second, Austin Riley at the plate. We'll see if Pallante can get out of this one. Here's the 1-1. In the dirt, Pajes has to block it. Scooted way away from him, and Verdugo is easily able to take third. So 2-1 on Riley, Verdugo on third with 2 outs. A big 2-run fourth inning from the Braves so far. Riley trying to extend that and take the lead. The 2-1 pitch from Pallante. Ground ball foul, 2-2. We take a look around the league. A lot of close games, but a couple aren't. One of those that is not is a 6-0 lead by the Nationals over the Orioles. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Riley. Up and away, 3-2. Austin Riley is 1 for 2 on the day. And Marcell Ozuna is on deck. With the runner on third, here's the 3-2 pitch to Austin Riley. Ground ball. Tough play for Pallante. He will try to make the play, but throw it away. And Riley will easily reach second base. On another error by the Cardinals, and the Braves take a 3-2 lead in the fourth. A lot of ill-advised throws. Sometimes you just have to eat it. That was a play where you weren't going to get Riley. It was too good of a swinging bunt. And you tried to make an off-balance throw and instead put him in scoring position for one of the best hitters in the majors, in Marcell Ozuna. We'll see what happens now. 3-2 Braves in the fourth. Here is the pitch to Ozuna. In there for a strike. Ozuna is still without an at-bat in this one. He has 2 walks on the game today. Riley on second. The 0-1 pitch to Ozuna. Outside, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Ozuna. Check swing, ground ball, easy play at second base, and Gorman makes the play. So Pallante finally gets out of it, but it's a big 3-run inning for the Braves, starting with a Murphy home run and then a couple of bad throws by the Cardinals, allowing a bunch of Braves base runners to advance and come around to score. It's 3-2 Braves after 4. But the Braves are into their bullpen, so a lot of adjustments will be made throughout the rest of the game. Right now, it is Aaron Bummer. So let's see if Bummer is going to stay in. Is he a guy who has history as a starter? No. About a league average lefty. 1.57 whip so far this year, 1.43 whip last year with a 3.58 ERA. So not perfect, but not awful. Last season, they gave him above average stats. Good strikeout rate. Great, very, very low barrel against. So that's great. You wonder if they'll throw him for a couple more innings or if he's just in here for the 1 inning last inning. Either way, I'm going to do a little bit of this quiz, see if we can get some NBA teams. So thinking of some of the teams that have won the championship, we could go to the Lakers, go to the Celtics, Magic. I don't think they've won a championship, but just a team. The Kings. Knock out the Oilers from the NHL. Capitals have been great this year. The Wizards. The Raptors. Who could that be? Thunder. We got the Cavs, right? No. There we go. Okay. All right, Bummer is still in the game. It's 1-1 on Contreras. Makes sense that he's still in the game because they went to him on a matchup where it was lefty-righty, so you kind of expected them to stick with him. The 1-1, ground ball up the middle, does not hit the bag, so Albies can make the play, and he does. Nice throw to Olsen, and there's 1 out in the top of the 5th. So Aaron Bummer trying to keep the lead for the Braves. Trying to preserve it so that the rest of the bullpen can finish it against the Cardinals. Cardinals have lost 5 games in a row. Now it's Nolan Gorman. He is 0 for 2 today. First pitch is a strike. And they don't call it a strike, so it's 1-0. Next pitch to Gorman. In there for a strike, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. In there at the bottom of the zone, 1-2. Nolan Gorman hitting third today. Pretty rare placement for him, but I like the idea. It's where Donovan usually hits. Everyone else in their usual spot in the lineup. The 1-2. Up and in, 2-2 now on Gorman. The 2-2 pitch to Nolan Gorman. Right down the middle, fouled back. Still 2-2. So Bummer has now reached 30 pitches on the day. You wonder how long they plan to go with him before they stick with the rest of the bullpen. Bummer is ready. Here's the 2-2 to Gorman. Low and away with the sweeper, 3-2. Arenado is on deck. Here's the 3-2 to Gorman. Sweeper right in there for a strike 3. He swung on and missed. Swung right over that one. It was a sweeper. He knew it was coming, still couldn't figure out where it was going. Swung right over it. So Gorman goes down on strikes, and that'll bring up Arenado. So Gorman, they moved him up in the lineup, and he's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Arenado does have a walk back in the 3rd. Has struck out among the lowest of any baseball player this season. So at least he's putting the ball in play for an 830 OPS and a 278 average. Here's the 0-1. Sweeper below the zone, 1-1 on Arenado. Cardinals now have 2 errors in the game. The Braves have 1. So a rare game where you have 3 errors. Not even halfway through. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Way above the zone, 2-1. Despite the errors, all 3 of Pallante's runs are earned runs today. Here is the 2-1 pitch from Bummer. Curveball got Arenado to swing, and it's 2-2. That one was in the dirt, but Arenado chased. Arenado with 2 strikes. He only strikes out 16% of the time in 2-strike counts. The 2-2 fouled off. He's been doing a lot of that, staying alive. The league average with 2 strikes is 166. Arenado's hitting 250 in these situations. Does have a home run with 2 strikes as well. Pitch number 38 of the day from Bummer. Chopped foul by Arenado, and we'll do it again. So we'll see if Arenado can use that 2-strike approach to his advantage here. Create a base runner in the 5th. Here's the 2-2. Chopped it foul once again. So continuing to extend the at-bat. The philosophy with 2 strikes of just don't strike out is easier said than done, but Arenado seems to have adopted it this season. It's kind of what you expect out of Donovan as well, but he is not playing in this one. The 2-2 pitch to Arenado. Swing and a miss, so he does strike out this time. That was a curveball at the bottom of the zone. And Bummer gets through another inning. It's 3-2 Braves midway through the 5th. So Pallante's been struggling to find the zone. You wonder if he'll stay in there. He's thrown 75 pitches, so I think he could go one more probably. Let's take a look at Pallante rather than this quiz. Let's see. So he's a guy who gets like ground balls, right? Yeah, it's 96%. So just find the zone. I can't believe he's been struggling to find the zone so much in this one. What is the walk count in this game? I mean, usually he's above average and keeping the walks low. 60th percentile in that stat. How many walks does he have today? He does have 3 base on balls. Also has a good number of wild pitches. And that error in the field. So some irresponsible pitching from Pallante. I'll go back to the quiz now. All right, so let's think of some teams. There's the Knicks. All right. And the Nets. There we go. The Hornets. All right. The Heat. The Bucks. The Timberwolves. Clippers. The Rockets. All right. The game is back. It's 1-2 on Matt Olson from Pallante. Here's the first pitch to Olson. Above the zone, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Matt Olson. Swing and a chopper off his foot, so I guess it's a foul ball. Olson hitting .205 with 2 strikes, does have a home run in that spot. It'll be Ozzie Albies and Michael Harris also in this inning. You wonder if Pallante will get through the whole thing. That is a couple of left-handed hitters. But if he's facing Olson, he's probably facing all of these guys. The 2-2 pitch to Matt Olson. Missed low and away with the slider. 3-2. The 3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball to left field. Deep and gone. A home run for Matt Olson off the top of the wall. And it is 4-2 Braves in the 5th. That one carried to left field. He went the other way. And Pallante's day gets worse. Now it's a 2-run deficit for the Cardinals. Olson not struggling at all to hit that changeup low and away, still in the zone, way higher than he was probably intending. And Olson put the barrel on it, right over that 385 sign in left. First pitch to Albies, right down the middle, ground ball. Gorman ranges over and makes the play, and there's 1 out in the 5th. Marmol is done with Pallante today as Michael Harris steps up to the plate. So Pallante gets through 4 1/3, 4 earned runs, and Steven Matz will come in to try to finish the start. So Matz taking over that long reliever role again. We could take a look at what Matz has done. He's been pretty good this season. You wonder why he didn't come in before the inning. Really doesn't make any sense, if we're being honest, because Matz is a lefty. And Matt Olson is a lefty, so figure that one out. Maybe he didn't want the reverse splits against Ozzie Albies as a right-handed hitter, but it's probably not worth having Matt Olson face Pallante the 3rd time. Either way, 4-2 Braves. Let's see what Steven Matz has been up to on the year. He's been very, very good. 2.16 ERA, 92nd percentile in pitching run value with 5. Great, very low walk rate. And then he's been above average in a lot of the peripheral stats. Does have a low strikeout rate. Does get hit pretty hard. But I imagine he's been good in lefty-lefty situations as he has great fastball and breaking ball value. So he probably should have faced Matt Olson this inning. He's thrown 16 innings on the year with a 0.9 whip, 2.16 ERA. That's excellent pitching. The last time he really had a big sample was 2023, and he was league average as a pitcher. Good fastball, good off speed. And a very low barrel rate, so that's strange. This season he's been average in those stats, but very, very valuable. And we're back, so let's go back to the game. So Matt's to Harris. The first pitch is in there for a strike. So lefty-lefty here. You could have had lefty-lefty, then a switch hitter, and then another lefty-lefty. Instead, you let Olson hit a home run. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Harris. In there for a strike with the sinker, 0-2. Harris is 0-2 with a couple of groundouts in this one. On deck is Sean Murphy. So he already has a home run, and he'll get to face a lefty. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Hard hit ball, but it's caught by Matz. That was a rocket off the bat of Harris. But Matz has quick reflexes and turned his glove around to make the play on that one. 2 outs now in the 5th for Sean Murphy. That might make its way onto Sports Center. Pretty good play by Matz. Murphy is 1-for-2 with a homer today. A rocket into the bullpen and left. He has, I believe, 6 home runs on the year. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike on Murphy. So Murphy has a home run in 1 out of every 2 games this season. It's always a good stat to have. Here's the 0-1. Way up and away, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch to Murphy. He is up in the zone, fouled back, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Murphy. A beautiful curveball at the bottom of the zone. Did catch the corner, but it crossed up Pahest a little bit. 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Murphy. In there. Was just a little inside with the sinker. Didn't quite get back over the zone. 3-2 on Murphy. 3-2 pitch. Top of the zone. Hit hard to right field, but Walker can make the play on the track, and he does. So we're after 5. We are through 5. It is 4-2 Braves as we go to the 6th. Cardinals will have, looks like Arenado. Nope, not Arenado. It'll be Burleson, Walker, and Pajas. So I'm going to go back to the quiz. Oh no. My quiz. What happened to the quiz? It's gone. Okay, oh well. I wasn't going to get all of them, but I was going to get most of the NBA. I wasn't going to be able to get to the NHL, so that's pretty much where I would have sat. Got the entirety of the MLB, the entirety of the NFL. Would have probably left out a couple NBA teams, got a few more hockey teams, but that is what it is. So no more quiz there. We can look at the bullpen for the Braves, because Bummer, you wonder if Bummer will stay in. Bummer is listed as a reliever. So they could go to a guy like Pierce Johnson. He spent a long time in Colorado. Maybe Montero, Peterson. Try to get some innings out of him. Let's see what they do. This inning is against 1 lefty and 2 righties. So a right-handed pitcher would make sense. It will be Montero. First pitch to Burleson is outside, 1-0. Here's the pitch. Chopped foul, 1-1. Rafael Montero has a 3.38 ERA on the year. 23 pitches in the last 3 days. 8 innings pitched, 1.5 whip. Here's his third pitch of the at-bat against Burleson. Hard hit ball off the glove of Albies for a base hit. So Burleson was able to hit it at Albies hard enough that he was unable to make the play, and he'll reach first base with nobody out here in the 6th. You wonder if there's something up with the lights, because that's a play you'd expect Albies to be able to make. And there have been 2 errors for the Cardinals, 1 error for the Braves. You assume that'll count as a hit. As Jordan Walker steps up to the plate to face Montero, here's the first pitch. Low and in with the splitter. 0-1. He swung over that one. The 0-1 pitch from Montero to Walker. Another splitter low and in, another swing and a miss, 0-2. So Walker chases the same pitch twice in a row, and now he's down in the count with Burleson on first. Pedro Pajes is on deck. Walker is 0 for 1 with a walk back in the 4th. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball in there, fouled off. Still 0-2. So Montero tried to pitch him backwards, and Walker was ready for that. Kept the count at 0-2. The 0-2 pitch from Montero. Way low and outside, 1-2. The 0-1 pitch, the 1-2 pitch to Walker is inside, 2-2. Walker hitting just .213 on the year. Let's see if we can get his first hit of the day. Splitter in the dirt, and now it's 3-2. So Walker swung on and missed the first 2 pitches, and after that, has not chased. Was able to foul off the fastball, and then has seen 3 straight balls since. The 3-2 pitch to Walker, we have a timeout. And Montero tried to go back inside with that splitter. Instead, Walker called time, and he'll have to come up with something new or do it again. Here's the 3-2 pitch with Burleson on first to Jordan Walker. Montero delivers. And it's a splitter in the dirt, so Walker draws another walk. It's his second of the game, back-to-back walks for Walker. And there are 2 on with nobody out in the 6th. That'll bring up Pedro Pajes. This is the danger of a bullpen game. A guy cannot be having his best day, and the more guys you introduce, the higher a chance that that's going to happen to somebody. In there for a strike with the fastball, 0-1 on Pajes. Pajes is 0 for 2 today with a ground out and a fly out. But he hits here with 2 on and nobody out. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Montero. It's outside, 1-1. I've been really out of it today, it feels like. But this is a big chance for Pajes to put everything back. Here is the 1-1 pitch. In there for a strike with the splitter, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch to Pajes is low and away, 2-2. That was another splitter. So Montero's struggling to find the zone with the splitter, and that continues to hurt the Braves. Here's the 2-2. A little bit low with the slider that time, and it's 3-2. On deck is Victor Scott, who's from Atlanta and already has 4 hits in the series. Not the guy you want to face with the bases loaded. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Pedro Pajes. Hit hard the other way, but foul out of play, and we'll have to do it again. Pajes is the Cardinals catcher. Has played a very substantial portion of the games, with Herrera out due to injury. Victor Scott waits on deck. Here's the 3-2. Top of the zone, it's popped up into play. Easy play, infield fly for Albies, and he makes the catch. So there's 1 out now in the 6th with 2 on for Victor Scott. So Montero walked 2 and got 1 out. I would take him out of the game right now. I think that's what I would do if I'm Snitker. Go get a left-handed pitcher. Worry about Scott, not win, but we'll see what Snitker decides to do. Just doesn't seem like Montero's finding the zone very well. Here's the first pitch to Scott. Splitter in the dirt, 1-0. So Snitker does not agree with me. He's going to leave Montero in. As a Cardinals fan, I'm glad. I think this will be a mistake. Potential walk for Scott. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Victor Scott. Nice splitter low in the zone. Fouled off, 1-1. Victor Scott had a single back in the 3rd, and now he takes the 1-1 pitch outside for ball 2. So it's 2-1 now on Scott. The 2-1 pitch is way inside, 3-1. Here's the 3-1 pitch, inside ball 4. So just as I said, Montero can't find the zone. They left him in, and that was a mistake. That's ball 4. And now the bases are loaded with 1 out for Mason Wynn in his return game for the Cardinals. And now it looks like the Braves might go to the pen. Let's see. Murphy out to talk to Montero. Looks like they just decided to send the pitching coach out there. It'll be righty-righty against Mason Wynn. So I think the Braves are probably trying to conserve as much pitching as they can. It must be a decision more so on not wanting to use every bullpen arm in this game than the stuff coming out of Montero. But Mason Wynn is 5 for 20 in his career with the bases loaded, with 11 RBIs. No grand slams yet in his career. Let's see if he can change that against Montero. First pitch to Mason Wynn. Low and in with the splitter, 1-0. So Montero continuing to struggle to find the zone. Nowhere to put Wynn. The 1-0 pitch to Mason. Fastball in there, ground ball through the hole between third base and short. And the Cardinals base runners go station to station with a single with the bases loaded. And Wynn delivers. And it's 4-3 now in the 6th. That was just a hard ground ball. He just happened to find the hole. Got it past the third baseman and the shortstop there. Right between Austin Riley, and Orlando Arcia. And Snicker will take Montero out of the game. So Montero has a terrible outing. And now the bases are loaded for the Cardinals for the top of the order. You wonder if they'll go to a lefty here to face Nootbaar with the bases loaded. Maybe a ground ball pitcher. Let's see if they have something like that. Bummer's already pitched in this one, so it would have to be Dylan Lee. Is Dylan Lee a ground ball pitcher? This is important stuff. He's a 59th percentile in ground ball rate this season. What does he normally look like there? 14th percentile over 52 appearances for 59 innings last season. So very much not a ground ball pitcher. Was a very good pitcher. Got a lot of strikeouts. Strikeouts work. That'd be a good option. So maybe they go Lee here. So I'm expecting to see maybe Dylan Lee. It is Dylan Lee. So they are going to go lefty-lefty against Nootbaar. They're going to try to get a strikeout and then just try to get Contreras out. But Contreras is 2 for 3 today, and Nootbaar is 1 for 3 with a homer. So a huge opportunity for the Cardinals here. First pitch to Nootbaar is low and away in the dirt, 1-0. Second pitch is in the dirt, 2-0 on Nootbaar. He is 1 for 3. He has 4 home runs on the season. One of those came earlier today. There's nowhere to put him. He has no career grand slams, but he is hitting .391 in his career with the bases loaded. Here's the 2-0. Right down the middle, fouled back. A great swing from Nootbaar, and it's 2-1. There's another strike at the bottom of the zone, 2-2. Two-two pitch, swing and a miss. A slider low and away, and Lee does his job. He comes in and gets the lefty-lefty strikeout. Back in the day, that would be the end of his job, but because of that 3-batter minimum, he will have to face Wilson Contreras. Contreras is 2 for 3, and he hits in a huge spot here in the 6th. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Trying to get his average up to 200 on the year. First pitch is low, 1-0. Sometimes the bat is your biggest enemy. Sometimes you just want to take pitches because they're not in the zone, and that's what Contreras might have to do here. Has a 1-0 count advantage in this at-bat. The 1-1 is in the dirt, 2-0. Contreras has a career .274 average with the bases loaded, 63 RBIs, 4 grand slams. Has a 2-0 count advantage here. The 2-0 pitch in the dirt and gets away from Murphy. Walker comes in to score. Scott stops at third, and runners are now on second and third, and the game is tied. So the Cardinals score on a wild pitch. And the game is tied up in Atlanta. Lee is struggling to find the zone. It's 3-0 on Contreras. There is somewhere to put him. You wonder if they'll just put him on at this point and go lefty-lefty against Gorman. They will. So Contreras is put on without that fourth pitch, and the bases are loaded for Nolan Gorman. I'd love to see his stats with the bases loaded. I believe he may have hit a grand slam before. Can't confirm yet. First pitch to Gorman is above the zone, 1-0. Gorman is 0 for 3 today, has struck out twice. Doesn't like the lefty-lefty matchup, but he could deliver. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Inside pitch popped up between center field and second base, and a running catch is made by Michael Harris to end the 6th inning. But the Cardinals do score 2, and it's 4-4 midway through the 6th. I do want to go back and see. Let's see, has Gorman ever hit a grand slam? That's probably going to take a StatCast search. Or we could look at his splits. I think we'll go to his splits. Be easiest to go from here. So here's Contreras. We want Gorman. And then we'll go to the career split stats. And let's see. Probably leverage or base runners. Bases occupied. Here we go. This would be the bases loaded right here. So 2 grand slams for Gorman in his career. He does have a 648 OPS in those situations, and it just went down a little bit. So not great, but he does have a couple grand slams. Was unable to do it there. Gorman's been pretty good this season. 0.2 WAR, 120 OPS plus, the 1 home run, but couldn't quite do anything for us in that situation. He's not quite qualified in this one, but he has some very, very good underlying stats there. Great barrel percentage, good fielding. We'll see if that can continue. The game is back. Steven Matz back on the mound to face Jared Kelenic. In there for a strike with a sinker, 0-1. Kelenic is 1 for 2 with a double off the base of the wall. Did come around to score a run, as Matz fits a sinker in, low and away, 0-2. Kelenic hitting just 179 on the year, but did have a double earlier today. The 0-2 pitch. Perfect pitch, curveball lower outside corner. Didn't get the call, 1-2. 1-2 curveball missed low, and it's 2-2 on Kelenic. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss on the sinker above the zone, and that is strike 3 for Steven Matz. Great job by Matz. It's his first strikeout of the game. Pitch popped up. Foul territory. Can Contreras get there? He can. He snow globes that one. Makes the catch. And there are 2 outs in the 6th. I guess you call it snow cone. More of like a palm catch that time. Either way, there's 2 outs, and here comes Alex Verdugo. First pitch to Verdugo's in there for a strike with the curveball. Verdugo hitting .300 on the year. He's 1 for 3 in this one. The 0-1. Another curveball, another strike. 0-2 on Verdugo. He thought that was inside, but it clipped the inside corner. The 0-2 is outside, 1-2. One-two pitch, change up outside, 2-2. Matt's trying to get us through this 6th inning. Keeping his ERA pretty low on the year at 2. The 2-2 pitch, perfect pitch right down the middle for strike 3. And Steven Matz has been excellent today. Second strikeout of the game there. And we go to the 7th, 4-4. It'll be Arenado, Burleson, and Walker. So let's see. Arenado obviously has that great batting average this season. It's because he does not strike out. He's 99th percentile in strikeout rate, 95th in outs above average. That's the type of stuff you love to see. Does have a couple of errors, one in this game. And he doesn't have a great expected WOBA, which is a little bit surprising. Hopefully he hits the ball harder for the rest of the year. Let's see what else there is. Burleson, Walker. I mean, Walker's been struggling, but I do want to see what his stats are saying. He has 2 outs above average. That's actually awesome. Like, it's really, really good to see his outs above average in the positive territory. He's a good fielder. Also has great bat speed, but not a lot of good hitting going on. Hopefully he can get that going. He is hitting the ball hard. An above average rate. But he's not walking. He is striking out. Hopefully he figures it out. Today's not been too bad for him. Hopefully he keeps that going. Walker is 0 for 1 with 2 walks today. And here's Arenado facing Dylan Lee. So they're sticking with Lee. He was throwing strikes. Misses way up and away, 1-0. So it seems like the Braves are just trying to get innings here. They don't care about righty-lefty, even in a close game. So that's a little bit surprising. Maybe he's just trying to get Arenado and Burleson with the lefty. Maybe Walker. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss on a slider at the top of the zone. That was a good pitch from Lee. Here is the 1-1. Fouled the other way, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch from Lee is poked the other way off the glove of Olsen, and he'll grab it and make the play to first for the out. So 1 out, nobody on in the 7th for Alec Burleson. This will be lefty-lefty. You wonder if the Cardinals might go to a right-handed hitter. Probably not, as Baker would probably force a right-handed pitcher to come in out of the pen. It will be Burleson. Here's the pitch. In there for a strike. 0-1. It's a little rainy in Atlanta. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. On that 4 seam. 0-2. The cameras are so good that even when it's raining, it doesn't look like it's raining. It's not pouring or anything. The 0-2. Swing and a miss on a slider outside. So Lee doing a great job drawing those chases. And there's 2 outs with nobody on for Jordan Walker. Strike at the bottom of the zone with the slider, 0-1. Good pitch to Jordan Walker there from Lee. Walker already has 2 walks today and a run scored. He is 0 for 1. But he falls behind 0-2 in the count so far in this one. The 0-2 pitch to Walker. Reaches out, pokes it to center field. Easy play for Harris. And that's the 3rd out of the top of the 7th. So midway through the 7th, it's 4-4. And we'll go back to the bottom half to watch the Braves hit. It'll be, let's see. Is it going to be Riley, Ozuna, and Olsen? Either way, it looks like Matz could stay in the game. Probably will. He's been pitching very well. But against a guy like Ozuna, you don't really want to give him lefty-righty. Let's see. I mean, Matz is a very valuable long reliever. I wouldn't want to make him face lefty-righty like that. Let's see if Ozuna has good splits against left-handed pitching. So we go to splits, we go to career. Well, let's go to last year. And then we will go to platoon. So versus lefties last season, Ozuna was a little bit worse. He went from .931 against righties to .904 against lefties. So maybe you stick with Matz. He could do better against Ozuna and Olsen, potentially. First pitch to Riley from Matz is a strike, so they are sticking with Matz. Here's the 0-1. Up and in, 1-1. Steven Matz delivers. Outside with a changeup, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball, third base side. Arenado is there. But he misses with the throw and pulls Contreras off the bag. So Austin Riley will reach. So Arenado having a really tough day. Couple of ill-advised plays, and here, just a bad throw. It's a throw he's made a million times. You expect him to make it every time, and instead, Riley reaches once again, and that'll bring up Marcell Ozuna with a runner on, and nobody out. First pitch from Matz to Ozuna. Swing and a miss. Sinker right down the middle, 0-1. That was a scary pitch and a very scary swing from Ozuna. Seems like no matter who you throw against Ozuna, he's been an incredible hitter this year. The 0-1 pitch to Ozuna. Just inside for ball 1. Here's the pitch. Inside again, 2-1 on Ozuna. So Austin Riley is up at 3 hits on the day. Ozuna only has the 2 walks, and he has a 2-1 count now in the 7th. The 2-1 pitch from Matz. Just outside with the changeup, and it's 3-1. The 3-1 pitch to Ozuna. Swing and a miss on the sinker at the top of the zone, and it's 3-2. So full count on Ozuna. Matt Olson is on deck. Matz is on pitch 30 of the game. He has been a starter for a long time, so you expect him to be able to do a couple of innings of work. But here's a very big pitch to Ozuna. The 3-2 misses low, and that's ball 4 on Ozuna. So now there's runners on first and second with nobody out for Matt Olson. We'll see what the Cardinals do here. This is one of those spots where you want Matz to face Olson, but you want him to be confident. If that for him means just not talking to him, then just let him pitch. Because this is why you left him in the game. It's to get this out right here. Here's the pitch. Just outside with the sinker, 1-0. Olson is capable of grounding into a double play, so try to get him to roll over one. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled back, 1-1. Steven Matz has a sinker. I would try to use it here. Try to get that bottom half of that Olson bat to the ball, create a ground ball, and get a couple of outs in the 7th with that grounder. Let's see what he can do. First and second, the 1-1 pitch to Olson. Swing and a miss on the sinker up and away, 1-2. So instead, it seems like he's attacking him for the strikeout. If he ends up striking him out, I would probably take Matz out after this hitter to try to avoid those lefty-righty Albies splits. Here's the 1-2. Smoked to right field by Olson, but he just got under it. And there will be 1 out in the 7th. That catch made on the warning track by Walker. So there are runners at the corners for the Braves with 1 out. So the double play is still set up, but Albies is a fast runner. So is Michael Harris, so no matter what happens, it's very unlikely that if a ball is put in play that it doesn't plate the winning run for the Braves, or I guess the go-ahead run. Really tough spot to be a manager here. So Albies this season has been way better actually against right-handed pitching. So that makes it clear. You definitely leave Matz in. See, I was wondering about that, and it just makes Marmol's decisions for the last 2 days make no sense to me. Either way, here's strike 1 to Albies. So Marmol has some explaining to do about the last 2 days, but it does make this decision make a lot of sense. You leave Steven Matz in against the better Albies splits. Here's the 0-1. Popped up. That one to right field. Walker an easy play, and he can prevent the run from scoring. Makes a nice clean throw. Cut off by the pitcher. And there are 2 outs. So no run scores there, and it's still 4-4 now with 2 outs for Michael Harris. Rain coming down a little harder now. Either way, you just need the out now. So Steven Matz doing a great job staying calm despite the 2 base runners. And just 1 more out can get him out of it. And that guy is Michael Harris. Here's the first pitch to Harris. In there for a strike. That was a sinker, top of the zone. The 0-1 pitch to Harris. Long delay. Here's the delivery. Outside 1-1. Harris is 0 for 3 with 2 groundouts and a line out in this one. That line out was smoked, but Contreras was able to make a great play on the ball. Here is the 1-1 pitch to Harris. Hard grounder. Nice play by Gorman. He flips it to second, and they get the force. So the Cardinals are through 7. It's still 4-4 in Atlanta. Rain coming down pretty hard. Hopefully they don't need the tarp, and we can get back in play quickly and finish this game tonight. Due up for the Cardinals are Pedro Pajes, Victor Scott, and Mason Wynn. That's 7, 8, 9. So we'll see if one of these guys can get on base, maybe steal a base for Lars Nootbaar. We'll see what happens. So let's see what Victor Scott's day from yesterday did to his page. Brought his hitting run value up to 31 percentile. So not too bad, 31st percentile. Walk rate is now above average. Strikeout rate just below average. Still a very low expected batting average, but he's a really fast guy. 99th percentile in sprint speed. That's always going to create some hits for you if you can put the ball in play. So that strikeout rate is important. Just below average. What was it last season? Way lower, like a way higher strikeout rate. So it's a very good sign. All right. We are back. It is Aniel De Los Santos against Pajes, Scott, and Wynn. They're going to a righty, which makes a lot of sense. You got 2 righties hitting for the Cardinals this inning. But Victor Scott will be hitting. And he is 1 for 2 with a walk today. So hopefully he can do something in his at-bat. But first we have Pedro Pajes, who is 0 for 3. Here is the pitch to Pajes. Ground ball foul, 0-1. That was a slider up and away. Found the zone. Let's see what Pajes can do. Whoops. Let's get that back. The 0-1 pitch is below the zone, 1-1. The 3rd pitch from De Los Santos. Ground ball the other way. Easy play for Olsen, and 1 out in the 8th. So here's the big at-bat. It'll be Victor Scott. He's reached base 2 out of 3 times today, and reached base 3 out of 4 times yesterday. So he's been absolutely tearing it up in Atlanta, back in his hometown. De Los Santos is ready. Here's the first pitch to Scott. Right down the middle, fouled away, 0-1. Scott has his average up at 270 on the year with a 715 OPS. He's one of the best hitters in the lineup today for the Cardinals. Only bested by Nootbaar and Arenado. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Scott. Up and in, chopped the other way for a base hit. So another hit for Scott, and they run out there. They're not going to get there, and Scott's going to easily take second base for a double. So Victor Scott absolutely tearing it up in Atlanta. takes his day up to 2 for 3. He's reached base in 6 of his 8 plate appearances in Atlanta, back where he's from, making his family in the area proud. And now the go-ahead run is him in scoring position for Mason Wynn. First pitch to Wynn is in there for a strike. That was a slider. Middle in. 0-1. Mason has a single in this one. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI. Also was hit by a pitch. Here is the 0-1. Fastball top of the zone. Looks like a strike, but did not get the call. 1-1. So that's unfortunate for De Los Santos. Let's see what he has with a 1-1 count for Mason Wynn. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, gets past Murphy. And Scott easily takes third base now. So a runner on third with a 2-1 count to Mason Wynn. Just 1 out in the inning. So if Wynn can put one in the air, that would give us the go-ahead run. Mason Wynn is 4 for 17. That's a .235 average with runners in scoring position. The 2-1 pitch from De Los Santos. Poked foul with the slider, 2-2. The infield is in on Mason Wynn here, so any hard hit ball will probably sneak through. Let's see what he can do. Here's the 2-2 pitch from De Los Santos to Wynn. Goes out and chases the slider for strike 3. And there are 2 outs now in the 8th, so the infield can move back, as De Los Santos will face Lars Nootbaar with the go-ahead run on third. Still can't have any passed balls here, so they're probably going to keep it in the zone as much as they can. They're going to intentionally walk Nootbaar with the right-hander on the mound and face Wilson Contreras. So that's an unorthodox strategy. First, so runners at the corners, 2 outs, and Wilson Contreras at the plate. This is a situation I would have taken every single day of the year last year. And Contreras seems to be heating back up, so I don't mind this at all. First pitch to Contreras. Hung a slider low and in. He did not swing the bat. 0-1. So Contreras just trying to stay patient there. I respect it. He has 2 singles and an intentional walk in the game today. The 0-1 pitch from De Los Santos. Swing and a miss on a slider low and away, and he is ahead in the count, 0-2. So Contreras is going to have to battle back here. He is 2 for 10 on the year with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. Did hit his only home run in this situation. Here's the 0-2. Poked foul with the slider, and we'll do it again. Contreras has had a very good day today and a very good last few games. Here's the 0-2 from De Los Santos. Slider low and away. Did he go? He did not. So it's 1-2 on Contreras. That was very, very close. Contreras gets another chance. Huge moment in the game. Go ahead run on third. Nootbaar on first. It looked like he might have taken second. I'm not sure. Here's the 1-2. He did. So here's the 1-2. Fouled back. Still 1-2. Contreras fell in the dirt right there, so he might be a little cold, as it has been raining. But now he has 2 runners in scoring position and a 1-2 count advantage here in the 8th. With Gorman on deck, they do want to pitch to him. The 1-2 pitch to Contreras. Way outside with the slider, 2-2. Does make sense to try to make him chase, but they missed way outside that time. Non-competitive pitch. So Newtbar on second. Scott on third. 2 outs. 2-2 count. Here's the pitch to Contreras. Swing and a foul ball, so it's still 2-2. This pitch sequence has been all sliders and then 1 fastball. That was the most recent pitch. See if they go back to the slider here with the 2-2 count. The pitch to Contreras. Fastball up and in, way above the zone, 3-2. Nolan Gorman waits on deck. He's 0 for 4 in this one. But he does have 2 career grand slams. Contreras calls time. Finding the grip on his bat. Here we go. The 3-2 pitch from De Los Santos to Contreras. Runners on second and third. Here it is. Takes ball 4 outside. It's a slider. He pimps it a little bit. And there are bases loaded now for Nolan Gorman. Is De Los Santos going to stay in the game? Coming off of a walk. It was a very well-earned walk by Contreras. He fouled off a lot of pitches. So it would make sense to maybe keep De Los Santos in the game here. Has good off-speed stuff. Good breaking stuff. Try to get Gorman to chase. That's what I would probably do. Gorman is 0 for 4 on the day. But he does have 2 career grand slams. Nowhere to put Gorman. If he can draw a walk, that would put the Cardinals up. Let's see what is in store for us here in the 8th. Gorman's in the box. Let's see what De Los Santos has for him. First pitch. Middle out for strike 1. That was just a 4-seam. And it's 0-1 on Gorman. Gorman is a career 5 for 30 with bases loaded. 2 career grand slams, 15 RBIs. Here's the 0-1. Inside for a ball. It's 1-1 on Gorman. So that means 40% of his career hits with the bases loaded have been home runs. Gorman is a lot of a 3 true outcome guy. But this season he's had a lot of singles. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Gorman. Up and in, crushed down the line and fair into the corner. That'll score multiple runs for the Cardinals. Kellenick has to reach down and grab it. Gorman has extra bases. Is he going to score all 3? It will. Contreras is safe at the plate, and it's 7-4 Cardinals. Huge double for Nolan Gorman. He cleared the bases. That is incredible. So Gorman finally delivers with his first hit of the game. Drove in all 3 runners and stands on second with a double. Looked like that ball got lodged at the bottom of the wall. Hardly ricocheted out, so Kellenick had to adjust his positioning, and that gave Contreras plenty of time to come around and score. Gorman actually was able to advance to third at the end of the play. The Braves are challenging the safe call at the plate for Contreras. He just decided to advance just to make sure the run scored. So it would have been a double. Now it's going to be maybe ruled as a triple. Either way, Cardinals lead 7-4. I'll let you guys know if this was an out. Pretty hyped bench there. Not super hyped, not as hyped as I would expect. Yeah, he was safe, no doubt about it. Contreras was safe. That was just a Just a throwaway challenge by the Braves just in case they could save a run. They were not correct. So Gorman's on third, 2 outs. That'll bring up Arenado with a 7-4 lead. First pitch from De Los Santos. Swing and a miss on a slider, 0-1. Slider missed low, 1-1. To Arenado. The 1-1 pitch to Arenado. Missed low with the slider, 1-2. So the Cardinals are on the verge of snapping their losing streak, but the Mets, after their 4-game sweep of the Cardinals, are about to take a 2-0 series lead on the Phillies if they can maintain a 5-1 lead in New York. As Arenado crushes one over to third, good play there. And the scoop is made by Olsen. But the Cardinals did score 3 on a huge 2-base hit for Gorman, where he ended up on third. I don't know how they're going to rule that. But either way, huge 3-run hit for Gorman. And the Cardinals lead 7-4. But yeah, the Mets, that's going to be their 6th straight win. I don't know if they had come into the game with a winning streak, but the Mets are on an absolute roll right now. They're a scary, scary team. That game's on TBS right now. Mets-Phillies. So the Mets came into the Cardinals series after a 10th inning loss to the Twins. So the win streak began against the Cardinals. It was 4 in a row against the Cardinals, and it'll be 2 now against the Phillies. So 6-game win streak for the Mets. Watch out for that. They've had a lot of things bouncing their way, and they have a very deep rotation and a very good lineup, so you don't know when that will end. If we remember the 17-game win streak for the Cardinals, it took some good defense, and the Mets showed some capabilities for good defense against the Cardinals, so just something to watch out for. We'll see if Steven Matz stays in the game. It'll be Murphy, Kelenic, Arcia. So I wouldn't mind Matz staying in the game. He has a 1.86 ERA on the year. He's been very good. Cardinals will go to Leahy. So let's look at Leahy's stats. Leahy, 1.93 ERA, 0.5 whip. That's pretty dang good. He's 96th percentile in pitching value. I think the Cardinals left him in too long in a recent start. He was not a recent start, recent outing. And that's why that ERA is a little above 0. It was even better very recently. But he was an above average pitcher last year. And a little below average back in 23, but Cardinals were able to get a hold of him and turn him around. So that's excellent. Good ground ball pitcher as well. And he's on to face Murphy. So here we go. First pitch to Murphy is in there for a strike. Low and in. 0-1. Second pitch, swing and a miss on a slider. 0-2. Murphy is 1 for 3 with a solo homer back in the 4th. Hit it into the bullpen. Here's the 0-2. Check swing on a curveball. Did he go? I don't know what he called. Yes, he did. So that's strike 3 on Murphy. Yeah, he definitely went around. So here comes Jared Kelenic with 1 out and nobody on to face Kyle Leahy. Leahy is a top 4 reliever in baseball this season, as far as opponent average goes. Kelenic hits a fly ball foul, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss on a changeup at the bottom of the zone, 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Check swing, pop up, and Mason Wynn's able to get out there and make the catch. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, and that'll bring up Orlando Arcia. Pitch to pinch hitter Drake Baldwin is grounded to second. So Drake Baldwin grounds out on the first pitch. So we are through 8. It's 7-4 Cardinals, headed to the top of the 9th. Good job by Kyle Leahy there. So who's due up for the Cardinals? Oh boy. Everything disappeared. All right, here we go. Burleson, Walker, and Pajas. One thing I do want to look at is Tommy Edman. Let me look at Burleson real quick, because he's been pretty bad this year. Yeah, 16th percentile. If you compare that, I mean, he's still squaring up the ball and not striking out. That's strange. Last season, he just hit the ball harder. Right? Where's exit velo? 60th percentile. This year, 47th. So, okay, it's not quite, it's a little bit lower, but not that bad. Where is it coming from? 91st and squared up. 82nd, so he's still doing that. Might just be the angle. Must be the angle. All right, and then Tommy Edman is just a thing I wanted to look at. So he's been going crazy over on the Dodgers. See him at 70th percentile in batting value, 99th in fielding. Hitting the ball hard, 99th in outs above average. He's just an excellent, excellent player. 8 homers this year. Does that lead the league? Like, where's just home runs? Can we go to standard? Home runs is second in NL? Okay. Alrighty, let's get back to the game. It is new pitcher for the Braves. And that is Wiles. First pitch to Burleson. A little outside, 1-0. Nathan Wiles. He has not pitched yet this season. This is his first outing of the year. Just a 3-run game, so we will probably see Helsley next inning. First pitch to Burleson. Inside, smoked, foul. 1-1. So he gave a souvenir to the guys deep in the outfield that time. Burleson is 1 for 4 on the day. Had a hard hit ball off the glove of Albies. 1-2 now. That was a changeup. Here is the 1-2 pitch to Burleson. Inside cutter, fouled back, still 1-2. The 1-2 pitch, bottom of the zone, hit the other way for a base hit. So Alec Burleson is getting it going a little bit. 2 hits today. And here comes Jordan Walker. So the Cardinals trying to extend their 3-run lead in the 9th. Let's see what they can do. The first pitch from Nathan Wiles to Jordan Walker. He is a cutter, up and in, 1-0. Sometimes a guy's welcome to the majors moment is a tough one, and that might be the case for Nathan Wiles. Here's the pitch. Smoked to left field, but right at the left fielder, Verdugo, and there's one out in the 9th. It's weird seeing Verdugo stay clean-shaven when he's not on the Yankees. You wonder if he's going to grow back that beard that he had for a long time on the Red Sox. That is a very Red Sox thing to grow, though, so maybe that'll stay with his past in Boston. Either way, there's one on and one out in the 9th. Here's the first pitch to Pajes. Low and away, smoked to right field for a base hit. Kelenic has to adjust, and we will see Burleson fail to advance to third, as Kelenic has a great arm. So runners on first and second with one out in the 9th for Victor Scott. So Victor Scott has a chance to put an exclamation mark on his great first 2 games in Atlanta and get another hit here. First pitch from Nathan Wiles. In there for a strike with the cutter, 0-1. The 0-1 pitch, outside with the changeup, 0-2. Victor Scott crushes one to left field into the corner. That'll get down. Verdugo has to play it off the wall, and some more runs are going to score for the Cardinals. It is a 1-run double. Runners on second and third now after Victor Scott continues his torrid hitting in Atlanta. He is going crazy. Incredible hitting for Scott in Atlanta. Doing everything right. That's a 3-for-4 day after a 3-for-4 day. He has reached base in, what is that? 7 of 9 plate appearances in Atlanta. That's incredible. Now the pitch to Mason Wynn is driven to right field. That's going to score the run from third. And Scott will probably advance to third. He will. And it's 9-4 Cardinals in the 9th. So they might not need Helsley today after all, although he'll probably pitch the 9th anyway, as it's been a while since he's had the opportunity. That'll bring up Lars Nootbaar with the runner on third and 2 outs. Welcome to the majors, Nathan Wiles. You have a 27 ERA. Cutter at the top of the zone, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 to Nootbaar, a little high, 1-1. Nootbaar had a 2-run home run today, an intentional walk, 2 runs scored, and a stolen base. Here's the 1-1 to Nootbaar. Fastball in there, fouled back, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Low and away, 2-2 on Nootbaar. Here is the 2-2 to Nootbaar. Misses low, and it's 3-2. So the count is full. There is a runner on third, and Wilson Contreras waits on deck. Contreras had 2 walks in this one. He's 2 for 3. The 3-2 to Nootbaar. Top of the zone, base hit into right, and it's 10-4 Cardinals in the 9th. So the Cardinals put up 3 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th to take a 6-run lead in this one. Nootbaar ups his day to 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Had that home run earlier. Keeps it going, and here comes Wilson Contreras against Nathan Wiles. So a very tough day for Nathan Wiles. His ERA in the bigs sitting at 40.5, but he just needs 1 out to get it back down to 27. Here's the pitch. The 1-0 is swung on and missed on a changeup, and it's 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Changeup at the bottom of the zone, and it's 1-2. I'm going to need to head out just a little early after this half inning. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fouled back by Contreras. So hopefully the bullpen doesn't blow this one. I'm going to assume that by the end of this half inning, well, by the end of the game, the Cardinals will have won. I hope. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. So Contreras goes down. He'll finish the day 2 for 4. And the Cardinals just need to not surrender 6 runs in the bottom half of the 9th in order to win this one. And it'll be Ryan Helsley trying to do that. So should lock this one down. I do need to head out, but I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And I'm happy the Cardinals won, or are about to win, and are able to snap this losing streak.